Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. This is the one, guys. This is the one you've all been waiting on. Recently, some of you might realise I pulled Duchess. Duchess is a beast of a champ, one of the best legendaries in the game. I've been after her for a long time. I was really excited to pull her. So we're going to do a guide on her today. I've got her at the moment in a pretty good build, 103k power. We built her on my live Twitch. She's literally built to be an absolute menace in the arena. And that's where I think she is the most strongest. I think for an arena defense champ, she's probably one of the best champions in the game. However, she is actually solid anywhere in this game, and that's what I'm going to show you in this guide today. So let me just talk you through her skills quickly. She's got an A1. Every time she attacks, she hits twice. Then she places a shield on herself and another one of your team with the lowest HP. Every time she attacks. So if it's a counter attack, if it's an ally attack, she'll do the same thing. So basically what she's doing is she's putting a buff to 10% of her HP on herself and someone else. It's kind of nuts. If you put her HP up, she can actually push out some crazy shields for your team. Really nice skill. She's got a brilliant A2 as well, so increases attack and puts block debuffs up for 2 turns. Massive for the arena, massive for clan boss, massive for spider, massive for dragon. I'm kind of running out of places to go. Absolutely insane ability. Brilliant for faction wars as well. She also places a perfect veil on all allies except herself for 2 turns. Now, perfect veil reduces the damage you take by 15% from AoE abilities. So this is insane. Pretty much every boss attack from dungeons is AoE. Clan boss hits are AoE apart from his stun. Most arena nukers nowadays are AoE. So this is just insane. You're basically just throwing up a direct damage mitigation on yourself for your whole team. She's then got revive all dead allies with 70% of their HP, places a veil, normal veil, on all allies except herself for 1 turn, and places continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. So normal veil gives you a 7.5% barrier. So not as strong as her A2, but still, she picks them up, she gives them a load of their health back, and she stops them taking as much damage as they should. Really cool as well. Just to cap it all off, she's got a passive, which also decreases the damage taken by all allies from AoE attacks by 25%. So you've got 25% barrier. You then have Perfect Veil, another 15%. So that's a 40% damage, straight damage reduction when she puts her Perfect Veil out. 40% is huge. That's why she's so good in arena defense. All of those massive nukers that are doing like 60k hits, she's taking 40% of that weight straight off. Massive ability. And she's got an aura, which is speeding all battles by 19%. This champion has got a serious kit. I'd say before Sifi came out, she was probably the most wanted champion for arena, just because of how disgusting her kit is. Someone I've been wanting for a long time. So in terms of Masteries, this is what I've done with a Masteries right now. This is an arena build. It's an arena defensive build. So we've got resistance. We've got reduced damage from AoE abilities, or from crit abilities. And we've got the ability here to increase turn meter if someone else takes a crit. We've got high resistance for a tier 6. We've got health, shielding, speed if buffs drop off. Book for more resistance, really, and then speed if people die. So, all in all, her kit is completely built around keeping people safe. Okay? In terms of how I built mine, I've gone 4-piece resistance set, 2-piece speed, because I want her to be fast, but I want her to definitely be able to take hits. I do not want her to be debuffed. I do not want for her buffs to drop off. So, she's got 637 resistance, 4.2k defense. I am going to kind of switch her build up for this guide, guys, but this is kind of how I've built mine to go into an arena set. So if I show you what my arena team, and she's a defensive arena champion for me, not offense. What does my arena team kind of try and achieve? The main thing really is to go against a team like this. So Orc Dimitri comes into the arena in that last hour of plats, and he's like, I'm gunning for you, Hell Hades. I want your plat points. Now, there should be two things my defensive team does. It should put people off attacking me. People should look at my defensive team and be like, no thanks, I'm going to try someone else. If they decide to take me on, the idea is that it either takes them a long time to kill me, or they just completely stop attacking me because the battle's taking too long and they want to ship out and do something else. So this is an idea of the sort of team that I'm running. I'm probably going to make some tweaks to this next week, but ultimately there's no damage really in my team. I don't expect to out-damage them. But the idea is they take a long time to kill me. So if it's running on an auto like this, I've got a shield set on my Warlord. I've got high resistance on my Sandlash. I've got high speed on my Arbiter. And you see at the moment we're just kind of blocking damage. See that? Big hit comes in from Trunda. No, Trunda, you're not going to kill us in one shot because we've got a bunch of damage mitigation going on. We've then got Warlord running big shields, and he's running basically block their abilities. We've got Sandlashed throwing up that team ally protection. So you see everyone's got ally protection on right now. That was Sandlashed. And basically, it's just a stall team. So we're getting shields from our Duchess. We've got two people that revive in this team. I wish defensive teams like this would actually target an Arbiter once in a while, because she's just going to pick up everybody in a minute. But because if they actually targeted the Arbiter here, we might even win the fight. And in fact, over time, we might win the fight anyway, because of just because they can't sustain. They don't have as much sustain as I've got. But the trouble is now all of my damage dealers are probably going to go after their damage dealers again, and the cycle kind of goes on. All right, kill her. Okay, we killed her, so we win the fight. And on Arena Reset, I was only attacked, I think, 10 times, whereas I'm normally attacked literally 10 times a minute. I was only attacked 10 times in the whole of the reset time, and of those attacks, I won 4. I would put money that the 4 that I won was at least 2 or 3 of them were people just leaving the fight because they didn't want to waste time trying to take that defense on. So that, for me, is where she is absolutely strongest. High power, high defensive stats, but she can be played in a different way. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you a different style of build. Maybe actually, no, I'm going to show you her in a couple of dungeons with the same build, so I'm not kind of wasting too much in gems and stuff redoing Masteries. These Masteries can work same sort of thing in other setups. So something like Spider, she's brilliant. She brings a speed aura. If you were running like a pretty standard Spider team, she brings increased attack so that an ultimate Gaelic will get his burns off without you having to do anything. So let's just get my Vault out there as well. So if you were running like an ultimate Gaelic comp, and providing she's faster, she'll put the increased attack up, he'll put his burns out, and then you just need people to sustain. So you might have, I don't know, you might have like a Cantra tank in there. I don't think mine's built right now. You might have a Razin as your tank, for example. You might have your, I don't know, like your Cold Heart running, or you might have an Arbiter, something like this. And basically, although Razin's your tank, because she puts in behind Veils now and then, the tank damage switches between your Duchess and your Razin. Her way of healing is not actually what you might expect. So her healing mechanic is actually shields. So firstly, she's got a ton of resistance here, so she should be able to kind of self-sustain some of this poison. She won't be taking the poisons. The burns are obviously going off. We've got Razin hitting weak hits all over the place. But Razin's Veil drops off, so all of a sudden Razin becomes the target, and then she gets a bit of a kind of reprieve. He might end up dying actually, but she can pick him back up. Obviously she's dropping shields on him as well. Most of the damage is coming in this sort of set from an HP burn, which she's the setup for. So she puts that increased attack on to do that. And then we've got a few people in there that can kind of do their whole turn meter reduction. So all in all, like the setup that she can bring is kind of bonkers, really. The kind of utility she brings. She's now thrown out a heal for everyone so that she'll start to top her health up. Unfortunately, the burn's gone off there where there was only a couple of spiders out. And she like continuously self-shields. If you had an apothecary in here as well, I've got everything getting resisted. He might not even be built, actually. I'm wondering if he isn't. If you had an apothecary in here as well that was just kind of running speed, it would be even kind of smoother. But quite frankly, it's just, she's kind of busted. She's kind of busted in spiders, considering we've got no true healer in here. She is doing everything. She's doing so much protection, so much healing. She's really doing the job of 2 or 3 champions in one person here. And this is without any sort of lifesteal gear on it, without really any ways to sustain. She doesn't have War Master on to do bigger hits or anything like that. She's just in there as a kind of out-and-out proper tank. HP burn goes back on, and at this stage, Spider's well and truly dead. So that's her in the same type of build in Spider. You don't obviously need the resistance up to the level that I've got, or the tankiness up to the level that I've got. And I've really not geared anyone else out. These two are geared well. Ultimate Gaelic's geared okay. Razin, I don't even know if he's geared at all, to be honest. Oh, he is. So he's got a reasonable build. And she can do the same sort of work in any of the dungeons. So, picking people up when they're dropping. So, if you didn't have this sort of crazy team running, but you had something a bit more like this, she can obviously go in as your speed lead. For any dungeon, anywhere in the game, she can be a speed lead. Literally anywhere in the whole game. So she'd come in here as your speed lead, drop one of these for an arbiter. You could throw in an apothecary for some speed, sort of generally. And then you're just going to need some sort of AoE. It's pretty not enough AoE going on. I need someone to drop defense. Just trying to make sure people are geared. Are you geared, Tayrell? Actually, your affinity's not good. Do you have stuff on? Trouble I find is when I re-gear champions like, I think she's missing some stuff. When I do my champion builds for people like Duchess, I just steal from whoever I need to steal from. So all of a sudden, some of these kind of epics that I only use for videos like this, I find they've got no gear left. Let's see. Yeah, she needs a couple of bits. Any old shield will do. Maybe one with a bit of speed on it. And a ring. Okay. She's good for decreased defense. Got 2 turn meter people. Maybe I do just run a Apoth. Hopefully we've got enough damage. Or maybe for fun we could run a bit of a... Maybe this. But basically what she's doing in any dungeon, so I'm not going to show you all the dungeons, there's no point. She's throwing out block debuffs, so we're not going to be taking on, in Ice Golem for example, we're not going to be taking on the freezes, we're not going to be taking on the decreased defenses from the ads. She can pick people up when they drop, which is insane. She'll put shields on people that are low, so that they've got less chance of actually dying. But then if they do die, she just resurrects them. So there's literally not a dungeon where she's not strong. Against the dragon, if you're up against the dragon main boss fight, you won't be taking the poisons, the weakens, all of that stuff, because you'll have block debuffs up. So all of the dungeons, she's actually just top tier for. There's not a dungeon that she can't just walk into and be really strong. And especially if you build a tanky like I've done, you don't need all this high resistance like I've got here. If you just build a tanky like I've done, she will be able to walk into any dungeon and survive. So pretty crazy. Just a crazy champ. She's so good everywhere in the game. There's not many legendaries that I'll do a review on, and I'm just like, you know what? It doesn't even really matter how you build her, and it doesn't really matter what dungeon you go to. She's going to be massively helpful for you. I think other than perhaps Sifi, she's on the same level as like a Sifi, Raglin, Arbiter, in terms of like versatility, in terms of where she can play. She can literally play anywhere in the game. Yeah, she's on the same level. Same level, not in terms of, she's not like busted Sifi wise, not like stupid busted like Sifi, but she can literally play anywhere in the game. So you can see here, she's putting out the block debuff, she's putting out the veil, so when we get the AoE attack come into us, if we do, then she's going to protect a big chunk of that damage. We're probably not going to get it because we've got quite a lot of turn meter control in here. But she's just kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. And obviously she's putting up the increased attack for our damage dealer, so we're getting a bit of a damage spike as well. Just kind of nuts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rebuild her for a different style of arena position, and then we're going to show her in Clan Boss as well. But the next one we're going to do is like a more offensive arena build. So I'll just let this finish out. Then we'll do a bit of a re-gearing on her. Bam, see you later. Thank you very much. Okay, so for arena offense, the way I think you'd be better off playing her, I actually don't need to change her up too much. I just need to make sure that, well, there's a couple of things you could do. You could run her as your fastest champion. So instead of Arbiter being my fastest one, I could actually run Duchess as my fastest one. So that the first thing that happens is that my whole team get block debuffs on. If your whole team's got block debuffs on, you don't need immunity gear, and that way you can just kind of punch as much damage gear into your team as you want. But if I don't even actually need to re-gear her for this type of style. She's just a tiny bit too slow. That's all I'm worried about. But she's a tiny bit too slow to do what I want to do. Which might mean we just get cut in on. But basically, she becomes our increased damage. We would then do a... We then do something like this. So she becomes our second fastest. Hopefully she goes next. Now she's not going to because she's not speed tuned well enough. So she's, yeah, this is what I was worried about. So I do need to speed her up. I need her to be about 20 speed faster than she is. I'm just going to change a couple of bits of gear quickly. I wish I could lock what gear I had on her before so I could just get back to it. What do I want? Just speed. That'll do. 67. I think that's just about enough. I'm about 3 speeds short of what it should be. So we'll see if that same fight now goes slightly different. What was it? These guys? So beforehand, I got cut in on, which I don't want to do. I want to make sure that I'm definitely going next, which I am. Now I put block debuffs and perfect veil across my team. So what should happen now is we'll still get attacked the same. Is she going to strip it all off? She is. Okay. So I had my perfect veil up. So now I can pick everybody back up. Give them half their health. They've used all of their main attacks. Everything's kind of done. I can pick her back up. Remove some of that stuff. So I kind of wanted for Madame to go next, actually, but this could work. And just from making her quicker to put that perfect veil out on herself, we've just kind of switched the tide of this fight. And at this stage, you might have thought to yourself, well, hold on a minute, you're still looking like you're in trouble. I'm not in trouble. I'm not in trouble at all. I've done a block revive on their only damage dealer. So just making her quick enough to definitely go second and get the veil out is enough to make sure this works. Because she's got good resistance. Now, if I'd also been able to make these other guys quick as well, then we wouldn't have even got to the point that we got to with people sitting on the floor. So if I'd had someone like, I don't know, like Lysandra here, then we just would have instantly won the fight. But as I said, I've not geared her especially for this. I've just made sure she's quick enough to make sure that our Foley's going to get a turn. So again, we can just kind of block all of this stuff and then increase our attack. And okay, slow and steady, we won the fight. If you made her the quickest person on your team, then she could throw out that block debuffs before you encounter someone like a Tormund, and then no one on your team's got a chance of being frozen. Which, again, so this person's doing it here, Trevor, look. Fastest here, and then none of your team will have a chance to take any sort of freeze debuffs or debuffs, which is kind of cool. It's quite a cool way of playing her. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw her into my clan boss setup. I'm going to need to re-gear her for that, and I'll bring you back in a sec. Right then, we have done a clan boss build. So I have pushed Duchess into clan boss masteries. So we've got a War Master, we've got the defensive tree. This is kind of like a standard mastery build for anyone really that doesn't need accuracy to land their stuff. So she's all done there. I've pushed her up to 219 speed. What I've done here is made a team using Deadwood Jedi's calculator, Ultra Nightmare speeds. So she's at 219, but because she's got an aura, she actually pushes everyone's speed up. It means you need much lower speeds. She can be really insane for you for clan boss. So her actual speed is 239, but for the speed I've got her in terms of gear, it's 219. Skull Crusher I'm going to bring in at 173. Frozen Banshee 164, Grave Chill 158, and Coffin Smasher 162. So it gives me like a good selection of champs of different abilities. What's really cool about her, so you just delay one turn on her A2. See here? She then comes in and she'll do her block debuff ability before the second AoE, and it will also block debuffs for stuns. What that means is nobody on your team will ever get a negative affinity like debuff or stun throughout the whole fight. So this setup will work on any affinity. Doesn't have to have Skull Crusher in it. If you don't have a counter attacker, put an ally attack in. If you don't have an ally attack, just put in another champ here. You can replace or upgrade any of these other champions as well. If you've got Razin instead of Grave Chill, brilliant. If you've got Sepulchre or Ultan or someone instead of Coffin Smasher, brilliant. All of that stuff totally works. So to show you the actual build then, I've gone life steal on everyone in the team. We've gone crazy high defense because she's going to be the lead. 219 speed. Don't really care about anything else. I've got a crit rate up a bit because I had loads of stats to play with. Everyone's in good gear, but just follow the logic of this. The right speed, as according to what I've just shown you, and then as high a defense as you can get on your champions. That's what you want for this type of build. If you then start to get into like really high-end gear like I've got, you can start to push crit rate up, start to push crit damage up. But a good rule of thumb, get the accuracy to the right level, get the speed to the exact right amount, and then get your defense up, and you'll do some good levels of damage with this type of comp. So, second one we've got is Skull Crusher. He has got 173 speed, 4.5k defense, and high crit rate, crit damage. It's in good gear, so I've actually gone crit rate, defense, defense, and then we've got defense here as well, crit damage here. This is a high-end build. Most of you will be running defense here, speed here, and defense here. Similarly on my Duchess, I've gone for crit rate, defense, defense. Exactly the same as what you just seen with that Skull Crusher. This even could be defense here. I've just left it as a resistance banner from my arena build. We've then got Grave Chill. Grave Chill is in defense, defense, defense. Most people will probably be running speed here. And then we've got accuracy, defense, defense. Exactly the same for Frozen Banshee as well. So defense, defense, defense. Everyone's in lifesteal gear. Accuracy, defense, defense. And Coffin Smasher, exactly the same again, but with a speed set. So I've got defense, defense, defense. 168 speed. Enough accuracy to land their debuffs. Everyone's got those same sort of sets of masteries. Apart from actually my Grave Chill, only because that's the way she was already set up. As long as you don't have the speed up masteries on that set, then you're going to be fine anyway. Great thing here, so Duchess sort of builds like this. The setup is so damn easy. Oh wow, my team is already kicking the way through Ultra Nightmare like no time. I never play Void Clan Boss anymore. If I do any sort of video, I never play Void Clan Boss. Because we just do it so damn fast. Look at this, already down to 11%. But I guess this is a good opportunity to show you. I don't think I've hit it yet, have I? No. It's a good opportunity to show you how this build works against a negative affinity. So basically what we do here is, let's get the right champs in. Skull Crusher, where are you? You can actually go to the back. You want Frozen Banshee next because you want that poison to come in first. Or actually, you probably want Coffin Smasher here because you want decreased attack to come in first on a counter attack. This is the order of counter attack. Here, then here, then here, then here, then here. Speeds make no difference for counter attacking. So here we go. Okay, so we're going to go into the fight. So you want to manual the first kind of set of attacks. So we want to go A1 with Duchess. We want to go counter attack here. Get the first AoE. Because I'm using Frozen Banshee, I'm actually not going. I'm going to manual right the way through until the end of the first set of fights, because I want poison sensitivity to come on before he does his counter attack. That's just going to be a little bit of a delay. Let's get a decreased defense on. Actually got weak hits. We're up against probably our worst possible setup, actually. Yeah. So just want to make sure, I'm just making sure I'm doing the right order. We get the second AoE off. Not too fussed about decreased attack coming on. A couple of poisons. Because of the affinity here, we've actually got 3 people that have got negative affinity against force. This is going to be the worst possible chance of a run. For the first one then, you want to put your block debuffs up here at this stage. So that everyone's got block debuffs up for the slam. We get block debuff go on. I then hit my poison sensitivity. I get a weak hit. And then I auto. So because of weak hits, we're going to do way less damage than we should do. But on any other clan boss than this one, we would be stringing the poison up like crazy. Obviously, if you've got a Cult Brawler against Force, you bring a Cult Brawler in. Or even, I don't know, maybe even like K or something. But anyway, I'm going to let this run through. I'll show you the results in probably about 10 minutes. So I'm going to bring you in here just because we're already taking a lot of damage. We're taking a lot of damage mainly because the affinity is shocking for the team I got out here. But it is running like a dream. The speeds are perfectly synced. We haven't had a single time yet where block debuffs has not gone up for the stun, which is great. So yeah, as long as you've got the kind of speeds right, if this was Void, we would be doing already a ton more damage because we've just had so many turns where we've not had a full stacked poison bar, which we would have on every other affinity. So this is literally worst case. And obviously with Duchess, everything here can be improved. So Duchess in herself is awesome. But if I was to bring in, if I had Valk here instead of Skull Crusher, it's an improvement. If I had Marta, improvement again. If I had Ultan, Sepulchre, Tyrell, Padma, any of the decreased attack champions which are stronger, that would be improved. If I had Vizier in here, we'd be doing insane damage. If I had, I don't know if Frozen Banshee can necessarily be improved on. I suppose Draco, Venus, all of those guys, which give more utility. Ultan, so there's tons of ways you can improve this team. If we had ally attack out there as well, would be better. So this is kind of worst case scenario for the team setup in terms of the weakest champions that fill these roles, maybe with the exception of Frozen Banshee, and in terms of the worst possible affinity clan boss you can get. Now, you get to the point here where you're like, well, everyone's on the floor, what are we going to do about it? And Duchess obviously can pick people up, so all right, they didn't last more than 5 seconds, but kind of gives you a feel for the type of setup you can do. But yeah, very cool champion in all areas of the game, and she kind of enables you to do stuff that perhaps you wouldn't be able to do anywhere else in the game with the type of kit she's got. So it's not crazy damage, it's mainly because of the affinity. That is literally like so massive in terms of that fight we've just done. Cool thing as well. So if I was to, let me just get my setup back. I'm just going to show you something else on that site. So for the same team, if I had the same team running in Nightmare, so I've just switched the speed over to Nightmare. Make sure I've not messed that up. I'll switch the team over to Nightmare, and what we're going to do now is instead of going on 1 turn, I'm actually going to delay her ability 3 turns, sorry. And you notice that she'll still be my debuff blocker for Nightmare. So I actually don't need to move her speeds at all. We do need to play around with Skull Crusher. I can't have him doing what he's doing there. I need him to delay. Let me just see where he starts to sink in properly. Tends to be like on turn 9. You see here, I need him to delay 1 turn for my Skull Crusher. So the speeds are exactly the same. I've changed nothing on the speeds, but this same comp can run on Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare on the same speeds. And that's actually, again, we've got a different affinity here. Of course, we have, which might mess things up. We'll see. I think it should be okay. So on Nightmare, same setup. So I need to delay Duchess's A1 for 3 turns. Let's turn that off. So we just go A1. We're going to go A1 on our Skull Crusher this time. If this falls in here, then we're going to use it. As long as it falls in before the clan boss has his first ability, we're definitely going to use it for the for Frozen Banshee. I think I'd rather have the poison than the decreased defense at that stage. A1 again here. Let's just see how many I need to do. That's my second one. I need to do 1 more A1 with Duchess. Skull Crusher comes in with AoE counter here. We're going to go 1 more A1 and then it's auto. So we've now switched clan bosses. We've got the same speed teams that are running on both clan bosses with the same composition. And again, it takes on all affinities because of the ability to block debuffs. And again, you can kind of upgrade on all of these champs. But we're going to block the stun off as we were before. And then everything, once you get to round 6, once we get to round 6, we're on turn count 4 here. Once we hit 6, this will completely sink in to give Skull Crusher the AoE before the first wave. And Duchess will always block debuffs before the stun. So in terms of like perfection, we're there. We're there. So we're coming up to turn 6 now, which is the stun turn. We get the block debuffs up as we need them. We've got a constant full debuff bar here because we're not against force. And at the end, just before the clan boss goes, we get a counter attack up, and Skull Crusher is now perfectly synced in. So this team on Nightmare should kick out some good damage, hopefully at least a 2 key. So I'm going to let this run through. I'll show you the results in a second. Let's see how we do. So just to kind of show this through, we're on turn 27 now, so we're way into this clan boss fight. Anything over turn 20, 22, you start to get tons of damage. You can see we are completely in sync still. Counterattack's gone up. It's landed it perfectly. Everyone's getting their counterattacks. Duchess will not get a double counterattack because she's running faster than everyone else. But that's fine. Everyone else is landing their abilities as we want. And we're always still in complete sync for the stun round. So absolutely crazy that you can run the same team, easily 2 key in it as well. For same speeds, Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, with the same ability to block debuffs. We're nearly dying here now. Yeah, so cool setup. So, I mean, Duchess, one of my favourite new champions. Literally can play her anywhere in the game. If you get her, absolutely make sure you build her defense up. Make sure you get her speed high. And then enjoy her in this game. She's a really fun champ. I've been Hell Hades. I'll catch you in a guide soon.